that we've talked about Marvel for a solid 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll have like a special edition, like episode 4.1 that is just us talking about Marvel for like 10 minutes. But I'd say we go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to.
I just waved like if
hello.
Yeah, no,
I saw that. No, I saw like the little 2-finger wave. I was like, Harley, we don't post the Zoom call.
no one's actually seeing us.
If you're interested,
hello, everybody.
I mean, we can post the Zoom call if anyone's interested. But until then, hello. Welcome to A Piece of Our Minds, a podcast about the creative process, starring 3 amateur artists, creators, whatever. And we're going through our journey of our creative process together in a weekly recorded fashion instead of us just talking every now and again to each other in a monetizable fashion. How about that?
What?
Monetizable.
What? Monetizable.
Oh, sorry. I was like,
are you okay, Harley?
I got something in my eye, and I had to
okay.
try and get my glasses out of the way, but my glasses are stuck on my headset.
This is a great start.
Great start. Yeah. No. I am Zander. I
am Harley.
And I'm Aaron.
Yeah, the 3 of us were very close friends in high school. We are now, after our first 2 semesters of college, now we're trying to reconnect, get back into the creative spirit of things that we're like feeling a little missing a little from high school.
Because school sucks.
School's good.
School sucks. School sucks. School's great.
School's good. School's fun. Stay in school. Stay in school,
kids.
School's there.
This is great. Yeah, this is a great topic for the building characters episode of the podcast. Yeah. Stay in school, build that character.
Yeah, let's just talk about staying in school for a second.
Yeah. And the importance of the American education system, which is not flawed at all.
Yes.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hot take.
Taxes. Nah. I know about the Incas though.
Oh god. Oh my god. Okay.
I was about to go off on a tangent, but we need to get back on
maybe
topic.
not. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe we don't need a piece of our minds in that regard.
Yeah. This isn't that kind of a podcast.
Okay, so we like to start every week by doing a little icebreaker that I arbitrarily decide and then tell to Aaron and Harley impromptu here. And very uncreatively, for this week, I decided let's talk about a favorite character of ours or a favorite type of character that we enjoy, like an archetype or something. For me personally, I was thinking, even though it's probably obscure, it was literally probably my favorite character that I could think of is Tamaki from Ouran High School Host Club, which is a very niche anime for anyone who has never heard of it.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to do some explaining.
Yeah, it's about this group of guys in a high school that like they just like flirt with girls and that's what they do. And it's like it's a parody of like high school like anime. It's super good. But Tamaki is like the leader of the club and he is just like the most wholesome person ever. But he's a huge idiot. And like the thing is that like people think that like he's like smart and that he like has like an ulterior motive for like everything he does, but he doesn't. He's just like a cool guy, a cool like wholesome guy. He's just fun. He's a really fun character.
Sounds like a chill guy.
He's great. He's very I don't know how chill he is. He's very like intense, like not intense, but like everything he does is super like extravagant and
like he's always in the moment kind of the character.
He's so fun to watch and like he's so passionate about like bringing people together and stuff, which is what I really connect with. So
that's cool. Yeah. Well, I guess I tend to gravitate towards characters who have like good morals and try to like help other people out. I don't know. I really like the character Baby from Baby Driver. I just think like his character's so unique. Like he like is so out there in terms of his personality and everything. But like I would say that I like characters who just, like I said, like they're wholesome. but like they're also kind of positive and like they impact people in positive ways. But I also like characters who have like a lot of development and like they grow as a person, like whether it's in a movie or a show.
Yeah, like a
So
good old Zuko from Avatar.
Yeah, like character, yeah, that kind of character development too. Like I'm really all about character development. But yeah, I would say that's the kind of characters that I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So
all right. Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta think. 'Cause, like,
no, it took me a while. Like, I'm glad I popped this question to myself early.
There are so many characters that I just love so much, and of course, a lot of them are from anime.
Oh yeah, of course. Anime has great characterization. Because like honestly.
Oh man, because there's what's his name? Hiro is from Darling in the Franxx.
Oh, I haven't watched Darling in the Franxx.
It's good. It's really good.
I heard the ending's bad.
The ending,
like that's what's made me hesitant.
It's not bad. It's weird. Okay.
So like it's a Studio Trigger anime, is what you're telling me.
People say it's bad, but it's sad, but it's also kind of weird with like the design of things, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked the ending. It made me cry because like you always want to see like the perfect happy ending, but then of course that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, like BoJack. BoJack! I didn't even think about BoJack. Oh god, I love all the characters from BoJack. Okay,
but like gotta love that underdog character that like they have failed so many times, but like they're still going after it.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Hero from Darling in the Franxx is a perfect example of that, because like at the beginning he's just like this outcast and he just is bad at everything.
Very relatable.
Just because like he's not like a match for anybody, because like the whole thing with that is that like a whole thing with that is like finding the person that fits with you and like true love, I guess.
True love,
and like finding that
true
like,
love,
finding like that perfect like pairing, and like he can't find that. And like the only person that he finds that happens to be like this chick that is super dangerous.
Of course.
But like he's so set on his goal to like defend his people that he just doesn't care about his own life.
Yeah, he's like super driven.
Yeah, I love an underdog that's just super driven with
I do.
Those are good.
Yeah,
those are good
I like characters like I like characters with ambition too.
Yeah, because that's something that like that's a super like something that everyone can connect with, because I feel like everyone like deep down has ambition about something.
Something like no matter who you are, like even if it's something very simple, like it doesn't matter.
And at the end of the day, you want to like your characters to like be able to connect with everyone and like see a little bit of yourself in them, or not at all. like some of the characters I was thinking that I really like when I made like a little list for myself. And two of the characters came up were Thanos and Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, which are just like I don't relate to these people at all, but they're super compelling. Like
they're very compelling. Like that compelling quality goes a long ways, because it could be a character that honestly, like you're like, man, I have nothing in common with this character.
Yeah, you're just like
you just gravitate.
Yeah. It's like they're just, especially Bill Cipher is just such a such a charismatic villain. Like he's so evil, and like he knows he's evil, and he like thinks 100% that what he's doing is like what's best. And that is the best type of villain.
Yeah, no, that is completely like villains who like think that they're doing something right. Like people tend to like villains like that. Like it's a good villain when people like the villain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. or like they like how much they hate them.
Yeah, like yeah.
Like like Azula from Avatar. I just watched Avatar for the first time, if it wasn't obvious.
It's about time.
Yeah, it was very good. But Azula, I hated Azula. I loved her. Like she was a great character, but I hated her.
Yeah.
Which I think is the point. She's just
I felt
the
so
worst.
bad. I felt so bad for Azula.
Oh, at the end, spoilers.
Oh, have you not finished it yet?
No, I'm like spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Well, that's their fault.
Oh my god. Well, I didn't know what happened at the end up until like a week ago. So
Yeah, when you finished it,
yeah,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
It was so sad.
Yeah, it was
because like
heartbreaking.
It's one of the best fight scenes in the movie, but it's not meant to be like in the show, whatever. In the show, but like it doesn't have that exciting music that you'd expect from a fight scene like that. It's just silent and somber because you know that just like it's gonna be like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like it's not supposed to be a happy moment.
It's
when
not
he
like
wins.
It's not a heroic moment. And I saw this thing online that was like Azula's like 14.
Yeah, she's
and she's like she's the most like sadistic character ever. Yeah. One of the most sadistic characters I've ever seen, and she is 14 years old.
She's 14 years old. She knows her mother hates her, and then her friends betray her.
Yeah, what was that line that's like, she's like, my mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course.
But it still hurt.
Gosh. It was good. So do you guys want to, I guess now we could jump into what we've been doing for the past week. Just doing our weekly updates.
Yes.
So I'll start first. One of the more interesting things that I was doing was I was writing a script for the next short film in the Fat Zander series that I think we've mentioned it like a few times. It's just like about like a rap alter ego of myself. But it's getting I've always realized that he's never rapped a single time.
That's true.
In anything.
That's true. Now that you point that out, yeah.
I was like, because I keep trying to think of like some way I can like shoehorn in some freaking rap segment, but I have no idea how. Especially in this one. But yeah, that's been fun because I'm trying to introduce like a few characters and like trying to think about like what I wanted different characters to be like, as opposed to like how they were in the past, and like trying to like come up with like those interactions and stuff, like to make it feel whole, because I didn't want it to feel like super generic. I wanted it to be like interesting. So what I ended up
like, it's good if it like when new characters come in, like if they have like a purpose right off the bat.
Yeah. Or like I was trying, because there was one of the things is that it starts out with Fat Zander is living with like a new roommate like after the events of Too Fat Too Zander, when he just like he rise to be a patron god of rap, and then he just left, and I was like, I don't know where to go with this. So I was like, okay, he's living with a roommate. I was like, who do I want this roommate to be? It was coming up with that character was like, so it was one of the most difficult things that I've done, because I was just like, there's so many different like ways that I could go with this. And I was like,
well, and like the character's personality can range too, like, which is super difficult.
I was like, do I want them to like butt heads? I was like, do I want them to like get along a lot? Do I want him to be like secretly like evil and in on everything? Do I want him to be completely out of the loop? Like, it was a lot. I won't spoil. I'm happy on what I settled on, because it's like it's definitely not the direction that like I immediately jumped to, because what I immediately jumped to was like a Flash from Spider-Man kind of thing. Where like Flash like loves Spider-Man. Like, he's Spider-Man's #1 fan, but he hates Peter Parker.
Mhm.
So I was gonna do
Yeah.
like, oh, he loves Fat Xander. He's like a huge Fat Xander fan, but he's like, him and Xander are like always
He
butt
hates
heads.
Yeah,
He hates like
Xander.
Xander, and he doesn't know that
That
he's Fat Xander.
dynamic.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about that, but then I was like, I don't know.
Have I ever told you guys about how much I love Flash from The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield?
I haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man. You have not, though. No.
It's
Yeah, no.
because like he's such. It's one of the best like interpretations of like a bully that I've seen
Mhm.
in film.
What do
Because
they
like
do with him?
because like the whole thing is like he's like a huge jerk to Peter because you know he's Flash Thompson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But then like after Peter's uncle dies, Peter's obviously like very upset because it was his fault and he knows it and he's just super pissed off. And then like everyone knows that like everyone at the school knows not to like mess with him because he knows that he'll just snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Flash walks up to him and he's like, "Hey Parker," and he's like, "Not today, please." And then he like grabs him by the shoulder and he just like and Peter turns around, grabs Flash and like shoves him up against the lockers. And Flash is just like, "It feels good, doesn't it?" Because like he knows like the anger feeling.
Yeah.
How good it feels to have
forgot about
control.
That is good.
It feels good
forgot
how
that
good
happened.
it feels to have control over somebody.
Yeah.
And so like that just like added a whole new level to a character that I wish they would have taken farther.
That is interesting.
Because like
Yeah.
that would have been such a good like take on the character just because like in the comics, of course, Flash does become Peter Parker's best friend eventually.
Yeah.
But like it was such a interesting take on the character and I loved it just because like
I forgot that happened.
It made him like somewhat likable as a bully just because like you see a whole different side of him.
Yeah.
I kind of liked, it's not as like interesting or like in depth as that, but I kind of like the direction they took in like Homecoming and Far From Home, where just Flash is like a huge nerd and he's like king of the nerds. That was great. He's like
I
head
really
of
like
the
that take.
he was like head of the academic decathlon team.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was like a nice spin on that.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
That's good. Like you, because like basing stuff off of archetypes and stuff like that is great, but like if you just give it like that interesting spin, like that's what makes like a really, really cool character, I feel.
Yeah, it makes it unique for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I've been writing that script. It's going pretty good. I'm like halfway done with it by now.
Okay.
I think I might try to finish up the rest of it today because hopefully we'll be able to film it next week.
Ooh.
If maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk more about plan. Like, welcome to the podcast where we make a schedule for filming that everyone wants to listen to.
Hey, it's part of the process, man.
That's
it's
true.
A part
that
of
actually
the
is
true. Yeah, this is
very
much a part of the
I actually,
process.
that actually would have been an interesting. I wonder if people would have been interested to like hear about us planning that.
Can we give them a behind the scenes of filming in the next?
Like, I was thinking it like after we film, like we could do like a behind the scenes like type of episode of us like actually making like a big project like that.
And like what goes into it. And, like, how we felt. Yeah, I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I know after this, I'm definitely gonna keep on writing a little bit before I record.
Yeah. And I've been writing my novel too, like 10 minutes every day, like as always. And I'm happy we're doing characters this week because what's been going on right now in the story is that it's really focusing on like these 3 characters that like I just kind of like threw into the story at first. Like I was like, yeah, this is like there's probably like characters like kind of like this, but now they're becoming like these super like important like I think pretty well fleshed out like characters, which that's been really interesting to see like their like how they interact with other people, like because they're like three like big authority figures in this world, and like of like different ranks, and there's like this one girl who's more like, she's like very like hyper, I want to say, and like very like just like sweet and like excited about everything, and then you have like there's like this general who's like very like by the numbers but also is like a soft side, like very stereotypical stuff, but like it's been interesting to like just see the like developments like come naturally from all that.
Like I think like seeing that growth and development like really is refreshing to people. Like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool to see.
No,
that's always nice,
because you don't want just like flat characters. People don't like flat characters.
No one likes that.
No. Or like and you want like, you want good interaction, because like the interaction between characters, I feel, and I've read that like that's how you see who a character is like putting them into like these different situations and interacting with these different people. So,
no, for sure.
So it's good to like mix that up a little bit.
That's really cool.
I haven't gotten very far this week in my story.
That's fine.
Just because like I found it difficult to move from like one set piece to the other.
Yeah.
Like I guess I can talk about this more when we get to like the characters and like building them up. But like I was like, what would be like a safe place for this guy to live? And I'm like, how about just like Western Texas?
Okay.
So this
all right.
This dude lives
whatever floats your boat.
This dude lives in Amarillo, Texas, with his dad.
Okay.
And he works at Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Okay.
He just stocks the shelves at the Home Depot.
Okay.
And I'm just like, that is so simple. And I love it.
Very simple,
It's very, and for reference, for anyone listening to this who doesn't know us, we're all from small town Nebraska, so that like rural feel is Western Texas.
Well, actually, Amarillo is it's like 3,300,000 people.
Oh, wow!
Like,
never mind.
It's
forget everything I just said. Yeah,
like compared to what we know, it's a big town. It's a big city.
It's a big town.
Okay. I don't know
It's
Texas.
not
apologize to anyone from Texas.
No, it's really funny because
it's not
like
huge, but it's not small.
Because like I was like looking, I'm like, where can I put this guy where it'd be like warm?
Just like Google
because
Maps.
Because like a whole thing about this guy is that like he has like heightened senses and stuff, just like as his basis, and so like cold really affects him and like messes with him.
Okay, so Texas,
and so
it's a dry heat.
And so like Western Texas,
it's a dry heat, warm.
And like I was like looking around, I'm like, where's like a city in Western Texas? Because I have no clue. It's like I went on Google Maps, and I'm like, I'm looking for a city in Texas.
I feel like you're thinking in your head like, where's warm at? Like,
where's warm? Where is warm?
Because like originally I was gonna put in like Atlanta, Georgia. I was like,
I mean, that's pretty warm.
It's warm,
probably.
But like,
I've never been.
But it's
Atlanta, Georgia would be it'd be very humid and warm.
Okay, because like that's an interesting thing.
You put him in Florida.
Yeah, put him in Florida.
But then I was like, after that, I was like, we're gonna have this guy work in like a supermarket in Amarillo, Texas, and I was like looking around, and I was like, oh, Home Depot. Why not?
Home Depot.
Why not?
So this dude
product placement.
This dude's just like just stocked shelves at Home Depot.
I think that's not only is that good for like developing your character, but that's good for like establishing a setting for your story too, which is really nice.
Well, like that's in because like whenever I've like done stories, either the setting is like super vague if it's realistic, or it's in this like fantasy land where I make up everything. So that's really interesting to like, for me at least, to hear like someone like just going to Google Maps and being like, okay, where is this gonna take place? Just like, where's somewhere warm?
I really respect that.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I really respect like the effort that you took into like setting the setting, like establishing the setting. Like I think a lot of times people underestimate the setting of a story and how powerful that can be.
Because like I was thinking, I'm like, I want somewhere where it's like kind of obscure in its own way, but like it's also like in a setting where I can like take it somewhere where there's going to be problems.
Yeah,
because like you don't see a lot of like bigger issues with like a lot of people in like smaller towns, and so like I don't I want to put him somewhere where I can like easily bring in like the natural dangers of living in a bigger city.
Which is cool.
That's really cool.
Something I never think about setting.
Dude, I really like this. Like,
because like
I don't know.
Because like because like obviously this guy, the main character, he has to be like hidden because of, I don't know if I've actually talked about it. I think I've talked about it a little bit, but like he obviously has this other side of him that's extremely dangerous to everyone around him, including himself. And so like he has to stay hidden from people who might want to take advantage of that. And so like him and his father would have been moving around a lot and moving from place to place. And I have made him originally from the Midwest, so he doesn't have an accent.
Okay,
so he's not so he's not like a I mean, he could still be like a big old man.
Yeah, but like I was like, I don't want to like bring in this whole like accent aspect of the character, and like he has like a different dialect,
like a southern drawl.
I'll leave that to my side characters.
Yeah, some of the horror elements might be kind of taken away if he has like a thick southern drawl.
Yeah, like you're trying to like make it a scary tone, and all of a sudden he's like, y'all, like
he's like, y'all ain't come around here. I told y'all not to come around here no more.
But like, speaking of like that scary tone, like that like dark tone, that's gonna like come in the first fourth, like 1/4 of the story, just because like I have like kind of halfway introduced a character already, and it's somewhat of a love interest, but it's not gonna last.
Oh, dang.
It's gonna be
that's
super
rough, buddy.
It's gonna be way worse than that, let me tell you. Because like it's gonna have this one character is gonna be a love interest. I haven't like fully introduced them yet because like I still haven't gotten to Home Depot.
Home Depot's the priority.
Like that's we still have not. We're still working towards Home Depot. We're not there yet.
Honestly,
that's the
I'm not
goal.
ready. Like, I'm not ready for that big of a step
like the
in our
love
relationship.
is like a coworker that's gonna like try and like bring him out to the real world.
Gotcha.
Because this guy's gonna this main character.
We haven't gotten to Home Depot yet.
Just the way you said that.
We haven't gotten to Home Depot yet. I'm almost there. I got done with breakfast.
I just like that Home Depot's this big
the big like culminating moment.
Oh, don't worry. It's not gonna be culminating for long.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I like the idea of just like making that like writer's lingo of like, I haven't gotten to the climax yet. We haven't made it to Home Depot. Like
we haven't made it to Home Depot.
We're still working there.
No, because like this because this main character, he's naturally, just because
good at selling home renovation products.
No, that's he only like stocks shelves and like does like the heavy lifting because he doesn't want to talk to customers. Like he wants this guy wants to isolate himself as much as possible so that he doesn't have to interact with people. But then this chick, is like super outgoing, and like she like tries to like bring him out into the world, and he wants to, but he knows it's not a good idea.
Yeah, just like working at Home Depot.
Because
I can't.
Dude, I honestly, dude, I really like the considerations that you've taken into your story. Like going on Google Maps and looking for a place in Texas, and then not only that, but taking it a step further and being like, where can this guy work?
Just because that's so telling for like who this
dude,
person is.
I really respect the effort that you've taken into your
It's
story.
on the west side of Amarillo. West side of Amarillo. I remember that because like there's like a surprising amount of like shopping marts and stuff in Amarillo.
I guess it's stuff to work with,
yeah, but like I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in this setting. It really depends on
stay at Home Depot.
Stay at Home Depot. Yeah, I don't know how long
I'm
looking for better jobs.
God, you better hope the people love Home Depot.
Yeah. I might move up to Lowe's one of these days.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have to switch to Lowe's.
I go to Menards.
I
really like
I'm not gonna stay in like a static setting for too long throughout the entire story.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good. Yeah, you want to jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if the story calls for it, I guess.
Like the first half of the story is gonna be like, it's gonna like stay in this general area, but then it's definitely gonna move around a lot later.
Okay.
As the antagonists come into play. But right now, the only antagonist right now is himself. So,
yeah,
that's deep.
that's very poetic. Oh my god,
my greatest enemy.
I am poet man.
I am the poet boy.
I am the poet boy.
I am the poet man. I say the poetics.
That's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I guess what I've been doing.
Yeah, Mr.
This week,
Aaron. Yeah, what have you been doing?
Yeah. So what I've been doing a lot is I've been doing a lot of research over like Christopher Nolan, like in terms of like his directing style and everything.
Okay.
He is like slowly becoming like one of my favorite directors just in general.
He is good.
And
he is good.
Like basically I watched this video a couple days ago about it, and basically he really likes using motifs and stuff in his stories, like whether it's like the watch in Interstellar or like the totems and that he has in Inception. He's like all about using objects in films, and a lot of times like he uses these motifs as clues for the audience, like which also keeps them engaged and everything. But his writing style is a little different. So basically he's all about like history repeating itself. So basically wherever the story starts is also where it ends. Like if you watch his films, you'll notice like the way that it started a lot of times is the way that it ends. Like whether it's like like the same exact lines, or whether it's like the same concept that took place in the very beginning that happens in the very end. And so it's just a very interesting concept, and I love his directing style and everything. And then the other thing that I watched was like action scenes. And so basically the best way to do a good action scene, I think sometimes people have this big problem of like repeating the same action within a fight scene, which people absolutely hate that. Like he like in the video he looked at an example from like John Wick Chapter 3, and which was funny because I had the same exact feeling when I watched like this specific scene. Basically it's like it's Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry in like this particular fight scene, and basically what they're doing, like there's these dogs and they attack like the bad guys, and then they'll just shoot them in the head, and that's the entire fight scene. It's just bad. Like the dogs attack someone and they shoot them in the head, and I remember like when I was watching that scene, I just totally lost focus. And like the guy was talking about how when he was watching it, he lost focus too. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
You're not alone in that.
Yeah, and then he also talked about how like it's always good for like your protagonist to lose sometimes, like that keeps an audience engaged like throughout the movie. Like sometimes it's good for the antagonist to win, or like have a good back and forth with it. So like I just thought it was very interesting because I was like, yeah, I guess like that is what makes a good action scene or a fight scene in a film.
Like
so
that variety.
yeah, like having a variety and also like avoiding repetition is what's key in a fight scene.
Yeah,
so
that's actually good because one of my plans for the next Fat Zander is to have like a somewhat brawl scene.
okay,
So I'm hoping. So hopefully you can help me like direct that.
yeah,
Like that'll
no,
be
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Because
I really liked it, like the way that he explained it, just having a variety. Like variety is key. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that'll be helpful. That'll be really helpful, actually.
So, yeah,
that's good.
no,
Cool.
yeah.
Rad.
Rad.
Yeah, I guess I had one more question looking at my notes about like building characters and stuff, like focus of this episode. Is where do you think you find the most inspiration for characters? Because I feel like for some people it's like people in their lives, some people it's like other characters on TV or movies or anime that they like. Sometimes it's like a bit of both, sometimes it's themselves. Like I feel like protagonists, I definitely just innately like find myself like projecting myself into them. Like someone pointed that out to me like a while ago. They're like, oh, all of these like characters you've made in like your short films are like kind of like this one thing about you. And I was like, oh, you're right. It's like, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like it does come from a lot of different places sometimes.
Yeah. So I was like,
I think that's just kind of natural. Like when in writing, you put yourself in the place of the protagonist.
Yeah.
Just because like it definitely, I feel like it's much more common with like if you're writing from a first person perspective, like I think you and I are. It's definitely way easier to just like do the character as if it's just you.
Well, because the character that you know the best is yourself. Like, so I think that's why like that happens a lot of the times, and why a lot of times in writing, your protagonist or like some character is a reflection of you in some sort of way.
Yeah, because that's what you know.
And I think when I'm like creating like these side characters, I definitely think I'm making it like someone that like I would like to have if it was me as the protagonist, like who I would like to have by my side as the protagonist. I think that
like putting yourself in that mindset. Okay.
Yeah. So like if I was a protagonist, who would I want to come with me on an adventure? And like then I just create that character based off of what I would want.
I would say a lot of like for me personally, a lot of times when I think about like characters and stuff, I would say I tend to draw inspiration from like a character that I've seen in a movie or like some TV show or whatever. Like I would say I tend to gravitate towards that. And like for me personally, I feel like if I was to do writing, like I know we talked about how a lot of times like with you guys when you do your writing, like the protagonist a lot of times is a reflection of yourself. I feel like if I was to make myself kind of one of the characters, I think I would want to make myself like a side character.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'd want me to be the protagonist, like because I think it'd be cool. Like I know that that's me, but I want the main character to be like its own concept and everything, and like an inspiration from something else.
It's so like it's so easy to drift into. Like
it is.
Or just like making it yourself. Yeah. Like that's like I feel like that's like the default in our minds. It's like, oh, I am this character. Like, what would I do in this situation? Like,
like
which is interesting.
I do that a lot, but like with the main character in this story, it's more of just like one like aspect
Mhm.
where it's just like it's not me, but it's definitely like a part of me.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
feel with Tom Locke is the name of the main character in my story. And he feels he's unreliable like a lot of the time, but like when he is like mostly thinking straight, he does feel a lot like my own like mannerisms and stuff. I feel like I'm projecting a lot onto him, like just super like subconsciously.
Yeah, yeah. And
Like
that's
he's
like,
like sarcastic and like quippy.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like I feel like we always go to our subconscious when it
Mhm.
comes to things like that. So I think, yeah, that's.
Mhm. Yeah, and
I
that's
really like this question. Like
yeah.
I thought these have been
No,
good questions today, man.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I'm getting better at hosting this
yeah, no,
slowly but
you're doing a
surely.
great job, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
As we are talking, I'm just like looking through my Google Doc, just looking
Mhm.
at like I'm I'm looking back at like some of my dialogue and stuff,
Mhm.
and I realized that I never like introduced like the main character's name.
No, well, no, because when
oh
it's just like
no.
when no, because you said you're writing it in first person, right?
Yeah,
Like that.
it's hard to like introduce
Yeah, it's
the
hard to
like
like
your name.
yeah to find like a natural way for them to be like, oh, I am this. Because like I think I introduced Tom's name like maybe like 30 pages in like to the story. Like
No,
during the first
I
entire like set piece, like he does not say what his name is at all.
well, because if you're doing it like first person, I feel like, at least in my opinion, the most effective way is for like some other character to say the name or whatever, or
Yeah.
yeah,
unless you do one of
that's
those like
that's
things where it's
legit.
like,
That's legit what I just I just
yeah,
did.
that's what you got to
I just
do.
like added like one
Mhm.
or like three words so that I could introduce his name.
Yeah. No, yeah, what I
Yeah.
did, I was just like this one character, like these two characters, he meets someone finally, like after
Mhm.
waking up. And he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Tom Locke."
His name,
He's like, "My name is Tom Locke." I
my
was like, "Perfect."
main character's name is Lane, by the way.
Lane.
Lane.
Yes.
Does he
Yeah,
have a
from
last name? Is there any
Yes, he
last name?
does, but I had to go check my notes. I forgot what I wrote down.
Oh,
nice. No,
Because it has to do with something
actually,
from the mythology.
mhm.
But
Oh yeah,
okay.
character names I think will be a good thing to end on because I actually, my system that I've come up with for naming characters is very lazy, but it's been working way too well. So what I've been doing besides Tom Locke,
Really?
yeah, besides Tom Locke, every single character that I've introduced into this story, when they need a name, I think about one like thing that like relates to them and then I translate that to Greek, and then that's their name.
Oh, okay.
Because like there's a character, I introduced her title as the Arbiter of Days, and like I wanted, but then like I got to a point where like, oh, she needs like a name. So I looked up.
mhm.
Yeah.
I was because she was the first character I did this with. I was like, okay, what's day in Greek? And it was Imera, and I was like, that's such a
That
good
works.
fantasy name. I was like,
Mhm.
Yeah, that
her name's
works.
Imerica. And then I had another character that was like the general that I mentioned before. Like, I already had another character that had to do with war. So I was like, I'll look up like a sword or something. And the word for sword was like Zephos. And I was like, that's such a good,
Oh my
I
god.
was like,
Yeah.
that's such a good name.
No, that's great
That's,
that that
yeah. And
works
like,
out like super
yeah.
well.
And there's a character that has to do with
God
death.
bless the Greeks.
Yeah, no, there's a character that has to do with death,
Yeah.
so I called him Karos. Uh,
Mm.
there's a the one I'm proud of is there's a character who's the Arbiter of War, who she's like this bright, like bubbly character, but she's the Arbiter of War, which I love. But her name is Polfina, uh, because the word for war in Greek is like polemos or something like that, and then I was thinking like Athena was like battle strategy, so I was like Polfina is her name. I was like, that works. I was like, that
Yeah.
works.
No,
Yeah.
that works out really well.
Mhm.
I don't know why,
No,
but I just got
that's
reminded
good to
of
keep in mind.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but like the idea of like a bubbly, bright character as being like a character of like war and violence.
Yeah,
Just
she's
reminded
like
me of it. Just reminded me of Sarge from Red versus Blue.
that does sound like Sarge from Red versus Blue. No, but
It's
she's like totally this like manic pixie dream girl type character that's like always like bubbly and like excited, and she's like, oh my god, we're doing this. But like
the arbiter of war is Zander's waifu.
On that note,
oh my gosh,
before we dive into any of that, no, so any other final thoughts on characters? I guess what have we talked about? Building characters, it's good to like figure out like where your inspiration's coming from with them, obviously. It's good to know just like the type of character that you want, like what drives them, how they interact with other people, and setting up those interactions is like the best way.
I think like that. Also being aware of like character development, like how is this character going to change throughout the story? Like, I think that's always
are they going to be static, like
or are they going to be static, like
which can be a compelling character.
In my case, I don't plan ahead that much.
Which is like that's the whole thing with like the whole 10 minutes a day thing that we're like preaching. Like, a lot of these characters will change like throughout.
I've learned that it's like it takes so long to move from one scene to the other with this 10 minutes a day thing.
Yes, that is the hardest thing. Because like I'm always like, what I was like, what is gonna happen next? And then I'll get like a little idea. Like I totally like once I had no idea. So I was like, I'll just put him like he's on this like whatever like arid planet on like a bike. And he's just driving and I'll figure it out. And then
like a huge jump from setting to setting.
Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, that works. And then that became like a super cool scene, like I feel. So like part of that you just gotta like go with your gut, man.
There's gotta be trust in there for sure.
No, it's definitely
I do bring up the point where it's like one of the sentences he's like talking about like living in Amarillo because like he's like, it's a nice place with a short winter and a hot summer, so I don't have much to complain about. Of course, it's a little weird being the only person that works at the Home Depot without a southern accent. And I'm like,
Depot.
And I'm like, that is like, it's like a good like start to like, of course, the next scene is going to be him arriving at Home Depot.
Yeah, because you can like go back and like be like, okay, what did they like kind of mention before?
And it's really funny because like the character that's the love interest, I thought about this like when I was like writing, like getting ready to go from the next scene to this scene I'm going to be working on, and like I was like, what can I do to make this character like she's gonna be funny, but like she's gonna roll up in like a BMW, but she's like working at like she works at like she's like a cashier at a Home Depot, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, what can I do with that? I'm like, what if she's just like a huge car thief?
Oh my god, that's great.
She just like she's really just like a car thief, and she works at Home Depot.
That is so amazing. Show don't tell.
So she just like rolls up in a BMW to a Home Depot.
Happens to work at a Home Depot.
That says so much about them.
People are gonna only remember about Home Depot from this podcast.
Yeah. Things to take away from this.
The title of
this
the title of the podcast is Home Depot.
Yeah, a piece of our minds, Ultimate Home Depot edition.
Yeah. No, because
Home Depot like shouts us out.
Like, I'm thinking like, how funny would it be if just like his love interest is like this like funny character, super outgoing, but she's also just a car thief.
That's good.
And she's driving a stolen BMW.
That's good.
No, I really like that.
So that's final thing. Definitely show don't tell.
Yeah.
Like, have these characters do something that says it about what their wants, who they are, instead of just like telling the audience who they are.
I just told the audience who they are.
Yeah, you just told the audience who they are. But metaphorically speaking,
it's gonna be funny in the story though.
Oh god. Well, hopefully that helps you guys. If you're doing like some creative stuff like this, that helps you a little bit with like thinking a little bit more about your characters. If you like,
take aspects from like wherever.
Yeah. You do you with inspiration. That's what I want. As long as find inspiration somewhere, but you do you with what that is. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun. It's always fun. Just
you
a few
can't
things.
See it, but I'm giving a thumbs up.
Yeah, Harley's. We're all giving a thumbs up. It's
We're all giving a thumbs up.
Yeah, if you want me to post the Zoom calls, I guess I can. You can see like my closet with like covered in blankets. That I'm doing.
You can see my green screen wall.
Yeah, if you want, like, I guess we can do that. Yeah, if you have any suggestions or like comments or like want to reach out to us, there's links to all our ats and everything for social media in the descriptions of every episode of the podcast, or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. If you're listening to this podcast, that means you found it somewhere. So kudos to you already. But if you're looking for other places to listen to it, we are available on Anchor, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, RadioPublic, and of course, Google Podcasts and Spotify, coming soon to Apple Podcasts. I got an email about it, which that'll be helpful. Yeah. So we'll soon be available on Apple Podcasts, which would be great because people can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts, which is very helpful. I also post this on our YouTube channel, with just like the audio, but I can do the video if you want that. YouTube, just search Lettuce Rock Productions, lettuce as in the food, because we also I should probably clarify that. We post a bunch of projects on there. It's just good time. We're trying to grow, and that would be really helpful for supporting us in our creative endeavors. So tune in next week. These episodes do come out weekly, so please stay tuned and subscribe. Yes, Harley.
That just sounded like the perfect podcast voice.
Thank you.
Episodes do come out weekly, so be sure to check that.
Be sure to check it out. Yeah.
It was just funny how you hesitated. You were like, weekly.
No, because I cannot stress this enough. Sitting in a closet. So I have my notes down here. I have you guys right there. We really appreciate you guys listening to this.
As Zander always says, we love you all.
I love you all. I love you all in a very platonic way, very dearly, very romantically. I am invested in our relationship, 100%.
We're gonna kiss everyone who watches.
Kiss all the listens. Good night.
All right.
Anyway, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Harley,
am I gonna do it?
Will you do the honors?
Thank you all for letting us give you a piece of our minds.
There we
go.
Yes,
that is the end.
That is the end of the podcast.